Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 33rd Annual American Royal Barbecue, being held at the 113th American Royal right here in Kansas City.
72. Basically, it's when I got involved in the livestock feed business in Illinois. And basically, I got involved by cooking for my customers. We put feeder meetings on to explain feeding programs, livestock feeding programs to farmers and a meeting type situation, and we provided meals for them. And one of my good customers was involved in barbecue. We really didn't think of it as smoking back then, but we actually wanted to feed our customers, and one thing led to another, and he talked me into building a cooker too, so I could cook for my own customers and not necessarily go out and purchase the product. And we actually built a smoker out of an old bulk milk tank that we found in an old dairy in southern Wisconsin. It was a bulk milk tank, and we hung a firebox on the side of it after converted and so forth, and we used that to originally start getting in competition. Getting in competition involved going... No, first competition was actually Memphis in May competition. Yeah, what got me started thinking about doing that, we went to Memphis in May one year in the early 90s, and got to thinking about it, you know, impressed with the cookers that we seen and so forth, and we said, well, hey, we can do this too. And I was talking to the old Apple City gang, Mike Mills and Pat Burke, and they were having a competition in Murfreesboro at that time, down at the old 17th Street Grill and so forth, and talked us into coming down doing a Memphis in May contest. And I don't think we finished DAL, but it was pretty close. And that kind of hooked us. Wasn't very many competitions going on back then. This would have been 92, 93. And then a KCBS competition popped up in Oswego, Illinois. And I remember Fast Eddie and some of the folks coming out from Kansas City to put that competition on, and they talked about us and talked to us and kind of bragged up Kansas City Barbecue Society. And this would, like I said, is in 92, I think, when we originally joined the Barbecue Society as a result of cooking the Oswego contest. And we cooked on that old bulk milk tank, and we didn't do very good, but we were hooked. And my wife and Teresa and a couple good friends from Princeton, Illinois, formed a team, and our team name was called Rock River Barbecue. And that name stemmed from, we lived on the Rock River in Illinois, and that's how we kind of got it Triple R. Then we went to West Chicago and cooked in the Illinois State Championships, what it was called back then. It was only at that time, it was the only Illinois contest, because the Oswego contest kind of went by the wayside. But Jim Burns, who's a great friend of mine and was involved in barbecue, and past president of the MBBQA and so forth, and we cooked there the first year, and we didn't even have our name called. But second year we went back, and to show you how much of a rookie we were back then, we won the rib category, and that was when we still had pork loin as a category, and we took second in the pork loin category, and we would have probably won the thing if we didn't know to cook 4 categories. But anyway, we were so excited, and I think we spent all of our winnings at the bar at Jim's place that night. We were so happy and celebrated. But anyway, that really hooked us on competition barbecue. So we proceeded on, and we continued to cook. We only cooked probably 2 contests a year back then. this would have been 94, 95, and one year it popped up. Me and a friend of mine went to come to the American Royal. That was back before there's only one side, and we actually cooked underneath the viaduct, underneath the by the railroad tracks, and we got a call in brisket, and we were just so excited to come here, cooking the basically the mecca of barbecue, and get a call. We only got a ribbon. We really didn't care too much about prize money, but that really got us involved more so in KCBS and so forth, and we got to know several of the friends, several friends associated with KCBS, and then it come time for election one year, and I says, well, I says, talked it over with my wife Teresa, and says, I'm going to take a shot at running for the board. And so we ran that first year, and passed our name around at the Royal, and nobody knew us really too much, and didn't make the election that year, but I was determined to try to put my input into the Royal, and that we ran the next year, and we got elected to the board of a 3-year term. It was I'm sorry. Golly, I think I probably was one of the first outside of the Kansas City area to be named to the board or elected to the board. I don't remember who was on that original board with us, but most of them was Kansas City, Missouri people, and we was kind of the outsider from Illinois, and that was one of my big reasons for running. I wanted to get input from outside the immediate Kansas City area, and we enjoyed that first stint on the board. And at that same time, what transpired in Illinois was Jim Burns had decided to sell his restaurant where the Illinois State Champions were held, and he asked me if I could bring it to Shannon, Illinois. So we discussed it with the local pork producers up there, who I was heavily involved with, and the local Lions Club, and we made the decision. They said, yeah, we can do it. And we had the location, a nice location, grass, actually on the grass baseball fields, 2 baseball fields, and so we brought the competition to Shannon, and the cooks fell in love with Shannon. We basically was running 50 to 60 teams way back then, which was a large contest, and it got to be known as the Barbecue's Field of Dreams was kind of our nickname, because we was on grass in a baseball field, basically surrounded by cornfields, and that's how the Field of Dreams come apart. And I have to think back and give credit to a gentleman who helped me tremendously as far as leading me toward being a contest rep and furthering my involvement in the Kansas City Barbecue Society. A gentleman who's no longer with us is Brian Henneke. And Brian was based out of Cincinnati, Ohio, and was a tremendous mentor for me. And he come up and actually repped the first 2 contests in Shannon. And he says, he looked at me, he says, Mike, he says, you and Teresa can do this. So I went to Kansas City and went through the rep training program that we had back in. All the reps had to come back to Kansas City at that time, and because of my job and everything, I was able to travel to Kansas City and attend those classes. And we actually had to attend those classes and be proficient in front of talking in front of people, and putting the contest meetings on, the cook meeting and judges meetings and so forth, and being able to run the computer and so forth. So it was a kind of really a perfect fit for me and Teresa to progress on to be contest reps. And then it was in probably 96, 97 when Artie Davis and Ed Royth and the crew here in Kansas City put together the Certified Barbecue Judges program. And I know I was I'm CBJ number 181, so I was early in that program, and I wanted to become a CBJ instructor. Let that be known to Ed, and who was in charge of the CBJ program at that time. And under his tutelage and mentoring, probably after 3 years of helping him and and helping him and Muriel put CBJ meetings on, CBJ training classes on throughout the Midwest, and even here in Kansas City at the Royal. He says, okay, he says, I think we can turn you loose as a CBJ instructor. And at that time, myself and Debbie and Bob Pelt out of Memphis, Tennessee were the only CBJ instructors outside of the immediate Kansas City area. So we didn't really look at that as a feather in our cap, but we looked at that as an opportunity to further send a message out about KCBS and the Certified Barbecue Judges Program. And since that time, I'd hate to think about the number of judges that I've trained. I've trained judges here at the American Royal for the past 5 or 6 years. We've also trained judges at the World Championships at the Jack Daniels. We've trained some executives at the Sam's Club headquarters in Bentonville, Arkansas, and just basically had a tremendous opportunity to influence people's perception of what barbecue is all about throughout the country. It's just been phenomenal the way that the number of people that we've been able to reach and the influence that we think we've had on teaching people how to judge competition barbecue. Along with that, I ran for the board again 8 years ago because I fulfilled a term for Dr. Barbecue, Ray Lampe. I picked up his term and then was reelected to the board and then reelected for my second term. So I'm just finishing up my 8th year on the Kansas City Barbecue Society Board of Directors, and I've served as president for 3 years. And I have to think back about that times. You know, I'm probably only the 3rd president of the Barbecue Society, but I think how I got influenced to be run for president was at the bequest of both Carolyn Wells and Tony Stone, who was president at that time, who was gone off due to term limit, asked if I would run and consider running for the board, and I did, or consider running for president, and I did, and I was elected for 3 terms as president of the Barbecue Society, and seen the Barbecue Society grow fantastically as far as numbers goes. Right now we're over 17,000. I think back then when I first went on, we was probably in the 7,000 or 8,000 numbers. So when I look back on what we've done and where we come from number-wise, and especially with the probably the greatest thing that I've seen happen for the Barbecue Society is the involvement of our marketing firm and what they have done for us as far as promoting barbecue, both here in the States, and the sponsors and the awareness that they've exposed people to barbecue about. I just think that's so fantastic. When we look at contests of $100,000 and the prize purses of that thing, you know, your responsibility to cooks, your responsibility to judges, I just think is so phenomenal and so really kind of humbling when you're thinking you're promoting these cooks, you're promoting these judges. The fact, looking at the numbers that we're looking at today. That's kind of a quick history of where I come from as far as coming up from a feed salesman who liked to cook for customers to to becoming president of the Barbecue Society and being on the board of directors of the Kansas City Barbecue Society. I just
what are you doing this weekend?
What am I doing this weekend? I'm on the rep team for the American Royal. We're actually the rep team that is in charge of both the Invitational here this weekend. We're in charge of the side dish category and the open contest. And in addition to that, I taught a CBJ class just yesterday for over 60 people. So, and that continues to grow. I started repping barbecue contests for the society in 1996. I think this is my 7th year as being a rep on the Royal team. As far as for being involved in barbecue, I've been involved in barbecue in the Jack at the World Championship since 96 or 7, serving as a table captain. In the last 3 years, I've taught the CBJ class at the Jack.
What else did you do this year?
This past year, me and my wife Teresa were the reps for the SAM series, their national competition. We repped 27 contests for the SAM's competition, and we'll be involved at the Bentonville contest. Logistically, we're not the reps there, and then we'll also be involved logistically in Las Vegas in November with the World Food Championships. Oh, there's probably a lot of stuff I could add, Mark. You know, we won a grand championship as a cook. We're still a competition cooking team. We cook, still continue to cook. We cook under Rock River Barbecue now, and the reason we changed our name was the fact that for the last 10 years or so, we actually sold some barbecue products. We had our own rub line, and we had 2 sauces that we sold, and we are getting in the process of moving to Ocala, Florida from northern Illinois, and my wife and I decided that we will discontinue our line of barbecue products simply due to the obligations that we had for Sam's and the obligations that we've had for the American Royal and the barbecue classes. We just haven't had time to pursue the barbecue business. So, you know, when I sit out here and look at the American Royal and look at 554 teams this here weekend, and we're involved in representing the Barbecue Society at basically the World Series of Barbecue, and it just gives it's really a humbling experience, you know, to stand up and represent the Barbecue Society when you're looking out at 554 teams.
Well, we're down here at the American Royal Barbecue. I'm in Space 100. My name's Bill Pittman, and I am the Emerald Buffalo. Been competing down here for this 21st year. So I'm one of the members of the Legends of the Royal, I guess, because apparently they came by today and invited me to breakfast in the morning, and I did win it last year, so I'm going to try and do it again. Hope everybody that sees this.
Open last year?
No, I won the Legends.
Oh.
That's a contest inside the Open contest. The best I've ever done in the Open is I've come in 4th overall twice. Not too bad. I've won Grand Champion on the side dishes once. I was reserve Grand Champion on side dish once. First runner-up once in the side dishes. Apparently I can cook side dishes, I just can't cook barbecue.
What do you do the rest of the week?
I'm a retired firefighter. Been retired about 5.5, 6 years now, so just working on it. Every day's a good day. So, and do a few contests every year. I've cut back. We used to do it quite a bit, and then I've just kind of cut back in the last few years, doing about 6 or 7 contests a year. Have fun with it. Try and get a name call here and there. The competition's so tough out here anymore. There's so many good cooks that you get your name called, it's like, yeah, that's a good deal. So just have fun with it. That's all we can do. Have a little party tonight. If you're all out there, come on by and visit.
I'm going to start telling how to roll. We are Fire Crew Barbecue. We also have a business called Fire Crew Catering. We started a catering business because every time we went to a catering event, the food sucked. So we started putting out our own food. We come down here and started competing at barbecue. We haven't won a damn thing, so maybe our food sucks too. I don't know. But we all learned how to cook at the fire station. We're all firefighters, Kansas City. And nobody's adding anything.
We like to come down here and make sure everybody has a good time, and a lot of good food, a lot of good drinks, and a lot of good people, and come on down and have some fun.
And I'd venture to guess we have more fun than any other party here.
Absolutely we do, absolutely.
Yeah.
Introduce all your team.
Oh, Jimmy Baker,
Michael Mito,
Larry Leggio,
Jason Stockbauer,
Brian O'Sullivan,
Joe Mingroni,
Vandy. Sorry, what is bag?
Did you not bring a bag?
A bag. I can just use the same bag, but I don't know where to put it. Yeah, I don't know what to tell myself.
I'm the pit master with Barbecuers Delight. Barbecuers Delight is also my company that I own with my brothers, and we make pellets. And I don't have any food for today because we're on a starvation diet and I'm counting steps, but I got extra pellets and y'all can pick whatever you want.
Okay.
So, these are flavor pellets. They're good on charcoal grills, they're good on gas grills. Whatever kind of grill is home, you've got instructions on the back on how to use them. My pit does burn pellets, and down here at the business end, it burns great big bags of pellets. The fire part's right there, and it goes there, and all goes together. And
Your pellets go in
the
here.
pellets go in here.
Just augers them in.
It's high, medium, and low. I control the speed of the drop of the pellets and the speed of the fan.
And you are?
I am Kevin.
Did you build this thing?
I was told to kick this thing in the nuts.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. You know, Cannibal Bull, I will forever think of this.
To what you know how to do. And you know, at the end of the day, you know, there's a lot of diversity in the judging community, but you know, if it's your day, it's your day. You know, so you got to just try your best. Don't give up.
It's strange. I tasted the other meats, and I found it way too sweet.
Way too sweet, yes.
Overdone and pumped up with different flavors.
Exactly, yes.
Pumped up.
It doesn't taste like pork, or it doesn't taste like chicken. It tastes like, you know,
barbecue
very
sauce.
overproduced. Kind of like, you know, you have a photograph that you did too much post production to it, and it doesn't look like a natural photograph anymore. Like you say, wait a minute, this looks pretty, but the reality, the scene doesn't look like that. But they are looking for that, you know, high contrast, you know, post production kind of a product. But you know, you turn in what you enjoy doing, and you know, we cook here primarily for fun, and it's just an excuse to get away for the weekend. Remember what they say, right? The worst day barbecuing is still better than the best day at work. So that's why we're all here.
All right.
And as long as you know it's not blowing snow and freezing rain, we're good.
Perfect.
Today's a beautiful day. Of course, we're leaving today, and it will be gorgeous the rest of the week.
Yes.
You know, last night we had I think it was down to the 30s. A little bit cold.
It was ice on the car this morning.
Yeah, it was ice on the car. So we had a little blankie on.
Oh, wow.
You know, keep the pits a little bit warmer, so we don't burn up so much fuel. I'm surprised we used as much fuel as we did. You know? We used about like 3 bags each, so that's normal. Usually we can cook a whole contest in 1 bag.
I've learned that there's also things for competition cook.
Yes, there's two kinds. Yes.
What's that?
That is a different kind of Kingsford. It has less ash, and when you finish cooking, right, there's less ash at the bottom, so they claim that it's a better, you know, briquette. I've used both extensively, and you know, to be honest, I'm a cheap person. I like cheap, so you know, that one is less expensive, so I'll buy them when they're on sale, 2 for 1.
And the smoke is the same.
The result is the same, yes, absolutely. I find that you know, you pay more. Yes, you pay more for the other one. So you know, you're burning money when you burn fuel. So less is more, I always say. So today we'll try something a little bit different. I'm going to buckle to the judges and cook it super sweet. I'll compromise my regular flavor, and we'll see what happens. You know? There's 500 teams today, so
Not
we'll
so
try
much citrus.
We'll cook it sweet. I mean, yesterday I cooked it really sweet, and apparently it wasn't sweet enough, right? So, and I'm going to tone down a little bit on the spiciness and see what happens. I'm going to overcook it also, because the theory is that a lot of judges today are not certified judges. Yes. So when they come in, right, when you are not, say, you know, not a certified judge, you may not be looking for that bite where you see the teeth marks on the meat, right? So today we're gonna try to overcook it a little bit. We'll see what happens.
So yesterday the meat we had, was this the meat you really like most? That's the thing you wanted to achieve? I mean, to get the right balance of all the spices and all the ingredients.
Okay, yesterday what I did was I cooked the entry that will do well in the California, Arizona, western states of the United States. Right? That's the flavor profile that works there. The flavor profile out there in part of the world is essentially strong flavors, very spicy and very sweet.
But you also have your personal taste.
Okay.
What about your personal taste?
I actually prefer just salt and pepper, and I eat with some salsa. That's how I like my ribs. So, you know, what you like, what you cook is very different.
Objectively and subjectively evaluate. Each barbecue meat that is presented to my eyes, my nose, hands, and my palate. I accept my duty. The 2012 33rd Annual World Series of Barbecue American Royal Open Contest Judge. So that truth, justice, excellence in barbecue, and the American way of life, will be strengthened and preserved forever.
So I like number 2.
Okay.
And it had a great flavor. It had a good spice to it, and the texture was really right on with what you look for in a piece of chicken. Then my least favorite was probably number 5, and the texture was a bit mushy. Is that what you want?
Yeah, that's what I wanted. Anything
All right.
else?
Nope,
All right.
I'm good.
All right. You're up.
All right. Pass it down.
My favorite one was number 4. It was very tender, nice bite through skin. Had the nice sweet at the beginning, and then nice warm about the time you finished it and swallowed it. It got a nice heat kick. My least favorite was number 5. It had a sour taste to it I couldn't quite put my finger on. There was big chunks of pepper in it. It actually choked me up before I got it finished, and it turned to mush almost immediately in my mouth.
My favorite was number 2. That was very good. And I liked it because it was very well spiced, it was very tender, and it just was an excellent chicken. My least favorite was number 5. It was overcooked and it had a bit too much pepper that made it a bit hotter than what I would have liked.
My favorite was number 6. The skin bit through, the meat was firm and very tasty. My least favorite was number 3. All of the skin came off on the first bite, and there was a long-lasting pepper taste that it finished with.
My favorite one was entry number 5. Really good flavor, a good sweet sauce, bite through skin, very moist. It was my favorite. My least favorite was probably entry number 3. It was good, but I think the spice was a little too much. It lasted too long. Overall, very good entries.
My favorite, where it's a tie between number 5 and number 6. Both entries had really good balance in the flavors. Number 6 was a little bit louder, a little more strong flavor than number 5. My least favorite was number 3. definitely had a very strong pepper taste and was pretty salty, so they must have brined it quite a bit. So that's it.
How about you do your...
Dude, those look good.
Number 1 was my favorite one. It had really good tenderness and a very good flavor. And I think the third one was my least favorite one. It had a very bitter flavor and it was not tender. It was a tough pull.
Yes, I also like the first one. I love the flavor. And on number 4, I could not bite into it at all. So it didn't taste very good and it wasn't very tender.
I also preferred number 1. It had real good tenderness, real good flavor. The only thing that I didn't care on it was the too much glaze on it, too much sauce. But that was the best. The one I didn't care for the most was the 4th one. That was tough. It's tough, a little dry, a little over smoked. Just wasn't my favorite at all.
My favorite of the group was, well, it's kind of different. My favorite flavor was the 5th one, even though the tenderness wasn't right, but I just absolutely loved the glaze and the level of smoke on the meat. And but my favorite, or my least favorite, unfortunately, was also number 4, where it was dry, overcooked, and oversmoked.
I think my very favorite was number 1, and the least one that I did not care for much at all was number 3.
Hi, I think several of us are in agreement. My favorite was number 1. Number 2 and number 5 were overcooked in that they fell off the bone with just even a nibble. Number 3 was very dry. And number 4 was tough.
You put these in a format you could email them to us?
It's gonna be on YouTube. It's gonna be on YouTube. All you see is your meat.
I know.
And you're on.
My favorite was number 1, or excuse me, my favorite was number 5, then 4, 2, 3, 1, and 6. On number 5, I love the flavor of it. The texture was great. It wasn't too mushy. It had a little bit of tender. It was tender. Number 6, it was way mushy. I didn't like the flavor. Didn't like the sauce.
I liked this one.
Number 5?
Yeah.
Okay, which one did you like the least?
6.
Okay. You're up.
Okay, my favorite out of the bunch was number 4. I liked the texture and the flavor. It appealed to me. Thought the money mussel was cooked well. Number 6 and number 3 were probably a tie for my least favorite. Number 3 was really salty, I felt, and a little bit on the mushy side, but number 6 was definitely overcooked. Even though it looked pretty, it just was kind of mushy in texture.
Yeah, my favorite was number 4 here. The first one was extremely mushy. The second one was extremely fruity. The third one was, I believe that one was a very salty, just overly salted. Fourth one was very good texture, very good flavor. Tenderness was right on the spot, and very, very good pork there. The fifth one, I thought the flavor there was okay. Might have been second favorite there. And the last one was just a little too hot for my taste.
My favorite was number 2. The taste and tenderness were dead on. And as far as my least favorite, I really didn't have one. I thought the rest of them were pretty good, but just not as good as number 2.
Well, I would have to say across the board, pretty good pork, but my favorite pick for today, I'll go with number 4. Texture was good, flavor was excellent. I can't really think of any least favorites, so it's just a good spread of pork today overall.
Sucker, you're supposed to hear a pot while ago. $118. One more piece in there, then I'm going to get some burnt ends out and try this. If not, I'll put another piece in. These burnt ends while ago, Gene, were pretty tasty. Let's taste one of these. You're damn good.
119.
I'm going to put some sauce on that stuff too.
Okay, no. I really like the, what was it, number 3 and number 5, because they had a really nice flavor. This one here, it tasted like the wood was a little green again on that one. This one was tough.
Yeah. Number 3 was my favorite. To me, it had the best flavor. I liked the burnt end. Number 4, the flat was pretty good, but the burnt end was overcooked. It was mushy, melt in your mouth type mushiness. Number 2, I did not score as well either. I think it was a little dry, or at least from my point of view. But to me, number 3, I did give all 9s on that one. It was good.
And likewise, I actually gave all 9s to number 3 and number 5 as well. They were very flavorful, moist. They did a very good job keeping the moisture content in them. Number 1 and 2 were both a little dry and fairly bland. Number 4 also was, I believe, overcooked. There was a burnt end submitted with it. The burnt end part was excellent. But unfortunately, the slice of brisket that they turned in, you had to bring down the judging number based on that. So.
I think the trend's going to be 3 and 5. They both did very well. The burnt end on number 3 was excellent. The very last one, the number 5. No, I'm sorry, number 4 wasn't my favorite. The thick cut. They're trying to hide some of that.
My favorites would be 1 and 2, and least favorite would be number 3. 4 and 5 fell in the center for me. The the least favorite I felt sectioned out like in little cubes instead of being like one piece of meat that in the barbecue contest it didn't match up to the pull test at all. 1 and 2 had similar texture, so fared very well in the texture category. The fourth one had a more roast beef taste, like if you would cook it in the oven and make a roast beef instead of a smoked taste to it. So that's how it fares. Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Getting well.
And where are we?
We are at the Big Wigs tent, 346.
And where is that?
In Kansas City.
At?
The American Royal Barbecue. The World Series, the Super Bowl.
And you're one of how many people?
I thought it was 500, but I heard 600 this year. I don't know. Have you heard which one it is? My wife, Mark.
I don't know.
It's always been like 500 for the last few years, but they said 600 this year, I think, so I'm not sure about that.
That's amazing.
That's unsubstantiated. No, this is our little spot. Not
and
bad.
What do you do when you're not cooking and hanging out at the American Royal?
We'll cook barbecue, go to contests, but profession, I'm a consultant, I work for myself. I mean, but all of us have our own little gig and everything else, but this is just a chance for everybody to get together and be stupid.
At least tonight, anyway.
We'll get serious tomorrow night for the Open.
Of course.
You know, so you gotta do what you gotta do.
I love the wig.
Thank you. Big wigs, get it? So,
absolutely.
All right, let me know when we're rolling.
We're rolling.
All right. So this is the what annual American Royal?
35th, maybe 37th, somewhere in the 30s.
And how long? And what has that wig endured over time?
A lot.
Yeah.
It's been to the lake. It's been to many barbecues. It's been through a lot. It's seen many things. It can tell stories.
Now, do people come to your tent for the hair or the food? What would you say is more important?
Well, you know, our motto is if there's a hair in your food, it's probably ours. So I think that's probably the hair, I would think. Maybe. Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, what do you think?
I don't know. I think that makes sense to me. I just what a quaff! What a quaff this man has. You know, what do you think, viewer? What does the viewer think?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I agree with the viewer on that one. I do. I think so.
And what time will this all get kicked off?
It's, you know, people are starting to funnel in now. Anywhere between now and about 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, this place is going to be insane. 8 o'clock, between 7 and 8, it goes off. It just gets crazy.
And how long will the party last?
Till about 1. We ain't going home till 6 in the morning.
Is this thing on? We'll see you later.
You ready?
I'm ready, go.
Okay, cool. Welcome to the American Royal Barbecue. This is Roadkill Barbecue down here in Kansas City, Missouri. We've been doing this since 1994. We have a bunch of guys that pool some money to raise money for charity, and we throw one of the biggest, baddest parties here down at the Royal. We actually compete in the Royal, so we've actually run many ribbons. We placed 13th in 2007 out of 500-something teams, so we actually do well in the cooking, but more so in the partying. And we just love doing this every year. It's for charity. This year's charity is for Operation Barbecue Relief. They raise money and get barbecue teams to go travel to natural disasters to serve the needy people. So we're excited to be a part of that. And thanks again for letting us participate.
Okay, well, for me, I think I like number 5 the best. It seemed to represent the best overall as far as taste and texture, and it was done properly. I was looking for more of a balance, and that was the one that basically achieved it. I'd say number 6 I liked the less. I actually ate more of that one to try to give it a chance, but it was a little overcooked and kind of mushy. So that's basically what it turned out to be for me.
My favorite was number 1. I thought that had an excellent flavor, the tenderness, it was perfectly cooked. I thought they had also done an excellent job of treating the skin. They'd taken it off, scraped the fat, put it back on, and they did a great job. It was a bite-through skin. My least favorite was number 3. I thought it was slightly overdone. And to comment on number 5. They had a tough skin. They didn't do a good treatment on the skin.
My favorite was actually number 6. I thought the tenderness was outstanding. Some people might think it was too tender, and I thought it was very sweet and savory as well. Number 3 was my least favorite. Thought it was the toughest of all the samples we had, and I thought I could taste a little bit of the like sort of a lighter fluid taste to it. They all were, very, very good pieces of chicken.
I'd have to say number 1 was my favorite, followed by number 4, and then number 6. Number 6 was kind of unique. It was very tender. Had a different taste to it versus the other 2 where it wasn't so overly sauced, so I thought it was worthwhile giving them a higher score on number 6. Number 5, a little disappointed in number 5. The skin didn't have any bite-throughs, so I had to give a lower score on that one. Number 3 was rather smoky. Tried to give that one a chance. Again, the meat was a little bit tough, so that did score lower. And number 2 looked overly sauced, like they were trying to cover up something, but I think it probably came in a close 5th.
For me, the best one was number 2. It had a excellent bite through skin and a really nice balance of sweet to spicy. It was just delicious. My least favorite would be number 3. It had much more of a direct grill kind of a flavor, not so much of a low and slow barbecue smoking. In fact, even has the grill marks, which it was good grilled chicken, just not good barbecue chicken.
Number 1 was my favorite. I thought it had a nice blend of spicy and savory, and it wasn't oversauced. Number 5 was my least favorite because I thought it had too much spice in the sauce. But overall, it was a very good chicken category.
All right, I need somebody to, please, y'all, I need y'all to tilt that, I gotta put this on. I can't, other way. Watch the top of the box, whatever you do.
Sorry, man.
I'll work around you, don't worry.
I just don't want to slice my belly open.
Number 1 is probably the best one. It's good moist rib, good flavor, well balanced. Number 5 was probably my worst one. Just seemed a little tough.
I like number 4. Flavor was really good and it was really tender. Probably my worst one was number 2. There was something gritty in his sauce and it just took away from the rib.
I actually put number 2 as my favorite. To me, it seemed like it fell off the bone easily and had a good sweet kick. And number 4 to me actually was the least favorite. It seemed a little well done and a little bit lack of flavor.
I would say number 5 was my favorite. The sauce was just about perfect, seemed just about perfectly cooked. Number 6 was probably my least favorite. Little too sweet of a sauce, maybe a little overcooked. Other than that, pretty good though.
My favorite was number 4. I thought that the sauce, I liked the sweet sauce. It also just fell off the bone and was really tender. And my least favorite was number 3. Although it had a really, really good flavor, it was underdone and didn't really want to pull off of the bone.
had to teach him how to be an all-around linebacker. I think he's figured it out in year 2. Liddell also calls the plays on defense for Kansas City. Pretty good combination with Houston on one side and Holly on the other. Both have a sack in this ball game in the first half. Another 3rd and long. We're going to find out called by the Chiefs. Stop the clock. 9:55 to play in a low-scoring first half. Baltimore holding on to the 3-0
I'll let you get these on. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so what kind of car I want?
It's right there if you want this off. Okay.
Definitely silver. New or used. Now they're new and used cars. Special offers.
I'm trying to stay out of your way.
Oh, that's okay. Nice smoke ring on there too. You can use that to put out there.
Yep. Give me another pair of just gloves, black ones.
2?
Yeah. It's too hard with that insulation.
Hands are sweating.
Yep. That wasn't happening yesterday. My fingers were freezing yesterday.
Yesterday was cold.
Yeah.
Just a little?
I couldn't even feel what was going on in the box.
Even if you were playing with warm meat, it was.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a big difference.
Your cousin's out there, John.
Don definitely likes barbecue.
He does.
He'd come out 3 times.
I know.
I like that. That's good.
Tracy said, Stacy said that the soccer practice was canceled on Thursday when John came out. He was bummed because he could have stayed out longer and had a couple cocktails with us.
How close does he live to here?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure where he lives these days. I'm going to get the brisket sauce and back on, okay?
Okay.
You don't have much time to, breathe in between these.
No,
Not like normal.
Not with that walk. It's a long ways. And we figure we're a good 6 to 7 minute walk from here to the turn-ins. So had to adjust our schedule a little bit.
Throws everything off.
Yeah. We can't do our 33-second turn-in we've done before. Funny thing was, with 33 seconds, our closest we've ever been, we were only 15 feet from the turn-ins. We were the first spot in the parking lot.
Oh, goodness.
Dave and Lori Lopp were like, we really thought you were going to miss it, and you were the closest team.
And we're ready.
Number 1 was my favorite. It was very moist and flavorful. Number 2, it's kind of fatty for me. Number 3 was good flavor. Number 4 had good flavor, good bark. Number 5 was a little dry. Number 6, it had little flavor. My favorite was the number 1.
Okay, so I'd say my favorite is number 4. Really like a nice color to it. Liked the taste of the bark. It had that good balance to me of a little bit of the taste of the meat, the smoke, and also the sauce. Number 5 was probably the disappointment. To me, it was a little too much on the dry side.
Number 3 was my favorite. It was just a great combination of bark chopped up, mixed in, lightly sauced, got a good flavor. It just really came together very well. Number 5 was my least favorite. It was dry and stringy and just a little bit mushy, just very, very bland.
Keep going? Okay. My favorite was also number 3. It had wonderful aromatics in the sauce. Number 5 was pretty mushy. I was really most excited about number 2 with the big pork steak, but it had just had a lot of apple flavor and was actually kind of bland.
Okay, my favorite was number 1. I thought it was cooked well and had good flavor. I was excited to try number 2, but I thought it was overcooked and mushy. And my least favorite would be number 5. It was dry and hard to swallow.
And my favorite was number 4 as well. It had good color, the glaze, the moisture content was incredible. And although I'm a big Kansas City barbecue fan, I actually tasted some vinegar type in there, and yet it just worked with that. It just was a very great combination. 5 was very dry, and that really, and bland. With the number 3 that the other 2 people liked, it was one of those that had a very prominent flavor, and it was one of those that you either like it or you don't, and I think that's evident. So. Overall, well,
The judges.
I don't know if I'm at liberty to say that, but yeah, overall,
did
yeah.
they agree, or did they?
They were very close.
Okay.
Yeah, five was definitely not the take-home winner. Everybody that was the lowest score across the board. The other ones were middle range, and then 3 and 4 were split for who liked them the best. So definitely 3 and 4.
Nice, don't crap out on me.
121.
Sweet. Come on, talk to me.
Okay, I personally like this one right here the best. Number 3. It's got some good fat to it. It's real moist. It's real tender. The next one I like was the second one. Then I like the first one, third best. This one down here, number 4 for fourth. I like the last one for fifth, and this one for sixth. It was the least favorite because, for one thing, it was cold and it was thin. The first, and some of them in between. I think it's a real good if they can put a variety of meat in the pork category, like have a sliced, a thick slice, have a chunk, and even have some shredded if they want. That way they have a choice of what they want.
All right.
Okay.
Here you go, Sandy.
Right.
Talking to the microphone.
Okay, what do you want me to talk? I like this one here. This one here the best, number 6. It was flavorful. It was cooked well. Good texture to the meat. This one I liked the least. It was rather dry, and the flavor itself was not that great.
That's number 5.
Number 5.
Okay.
I personally liked number 2 the best. It was seasoned real well and tender, a little bit of fat to it, easy to chew. And number 5 was my least favorite. I felt it was overcooked, a little dried out, just overwhelming by smoke.
I like number 2 and number 1. Again, number 5 was a little tough for me. It was a little when you're checking for tenderness, it just wasn't there. Could have cooked probably a little bit longer.
I'd like to start with number 1. It was a good flavor. It was a bit dry for me, so it wasn't my favorite. Number 2 actually was my favorite. I thought it was had a lot of flavor. It wasn't dried out, and it had good beef flavor. Number 3 was probably my second favorite. I just wish that they'd cut all this big giant piece of fat out because it's just not necessary, and it just doesn't look appealing either, although it did have a good flavor and it was pretty moist. Number 4 had good flavor, but it was a bit dried out as well. Number 5 had a really bitter flavor to it, and it was dried out. And number 6 didn't look appealing. It was also dried, and it also had more of a kind of over smoked, bitter flavor to it as well.
When you met Tina, talk about, did the judges agree or disagree, and which one they liked or didn't?
I have to agree with him. I have to agree with him. I like number 1 and number 2 both. Number 5 was awful cold.
It just makes you, what you do for a living makes you a bigger person. Bigger, yes. Looking over there to see what Harry does. Every time I do, he's whipping my ass in terms of making things absolutely beautiful. He has a talent for that. Although we did vaguely discuss what we're going to do. I don't know how he's going to execute it. You make it a turkey? It's like a peacock, no? A peacock? only sausage.
It's only sausage.
They can't take it that seriously, right?
We got the serious stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
I think the first sample that we had was a very unique combination with some sausage in the middle of it. It was a very spicy sausage. Had a lot of full flavor to it. Maybe a bit overbearing in my respect to the flavor. Number 2, however, again brought out the full flavor in the sausage. The cheese in there just complemented it, and I think out of the 4 samples, that would be my preference. The number 3 sample had a combination of ground sausage and the rolled sausage, both having good flavor. Probably not as good in the perspective scene of the other 4. Probably put it at number 3. And my final 4 was the bottom in the group for me. It was just very plain and average sausage.
And I am just the opposite. I liked number 4 the best. I thought it's a piece of sausage, and that's what sausage should taste like. The first 2 were just too processed tasting for me. A piece of sausage should have flavor and bring out, its meat, not a bunch of other stuff put in there.
I think my favorite one was number 1. I liked the taste of the sausage, and the stuffing that was in the middle kind of absorbed that flavor, and it was pretty good too. Numbers 3 and 4 were almost just something you would get at a store. They were okay, but they weren't great. Number 2 was my least favorite. When I bit into it, the initial taste was kind of plain, but then it had an aftertaste that really was hard to get rid of. So that was probably my least favorite.
My number 1 choice was number 1. The stuffing inside just gave it that extra wow factor that gave me it the top ranking. My least favorite was number 4. It was just basic sausage. I just thought it was store-bought sausage, and that's why I gave it the least.
My number 1 was number 3. I thought it had good texture, had flavorful pop when you combine the 2 sausages together. My 2 was number 1. Again, it had a sausage filling inside the sausage, interesting textures, and good taste. My least was number 4. It was basically it seemed like a store-bought. The skin was tough and a very neutral flavor.
My best was number 3. I like the flavor, and it was tender, and it was my pick for the best. And the worst one I picked was number 4, because it was more like a store-bought sausage, and that's about all I can say for it. Thank you.